Hi Soaps, in today's video I've made some beautiful lemon and poppy seed soap bars as inspired by the soap queen herself, Anne-Marie over at Brambleberry. These are really easy to make and they've got a wonderful fresh lemon fragrance to them. So without further ado, let's go and take a look at today's video. So here we are just getting our lye water started, and in a change from kind of tradition, I'm actually looking at doing a heat transfer method for my soap today. All that means is I'm taking my hard oils and I'm going to make my lye water, and whilst that lye water is still at the maximum temperature it will be, I'm going to add that into my oils. So what I'm doing here is adding the sodium hydroxide into the water. I've got my hard oils here. There's coconut, there's cocoa butter, there's a bit of palm oil in there, and probably a little bit of shea butter. And then I'm going to add my boiling hot lye water solution straight into those hard oils, and I'm going to allow the temperature of that lye water solution to basically melt down all of these hard oils. And this is a really great way if you need to do things a little bit quicker and you need to get things done a little bit swifter, and you haven't got time for that lye water solution to cool down and soap at room temperature. This is a great way of kind of circumnavigating that little bit of the process there. And I'm adding a little bit of sodium hydroxide into here, so we get a really nice hard bar. And as you can see, I'm just stirring that and stirring it until I get all of those little bits of oils melted down. And then once everything is melted down, I'm going to add in the rest of my oils. So these are my soft oils. This is castor, olive oil, a little bit of sunflower oil I think is in there as well. It might be rapeseed. And then we're going to scrape all of those in. And what that'll do is, it brings all the oils in for saponification, but it also brings the temperature down again. And what you'll notice is once I get this to trace, is I'm looking at around about the temperature I would be soaping normally, which is about 35 to 37 degrees C. So I'll get 34 there. So we're just at that right kind of temperature range, and everything's kind of in the right ballpark. So I'm going to give this a good stir now, and I'm going to get all of those oils incorporated with my stick blender. Now this will accelerate a little bit, or sorry, the coming to trace will be a little bit quicker because obviously the lye has been in there a little while, and you just have to watch false trace on this one. So I'm just bringing that through to trace, and then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to divide my batter into two. Now I've got my bowl here, and if you just look at the lower left hand side where I'm pointing now, that's the weight of the bowl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the weight of the entire bowl and batter, take away my bowl weight, and then divide that by 2, which gives me the 2 weights of batter that I need. So let me bring in my oil, my soft oil container here. So again, any oils that are left in there, I can pour my batter into it and I can just incorporate anything that might have been missed, which I think is a really nice way of making sure that you get all of the oils you can possibly get. I'll pop that on there, tear it out, and then I'm just going to pour in the half of the batter that I need. You can see there that we've got a relatively medium trace going on, so I'm going to need to work fairly fast on this. But as I want this to set up and it's going to be in 2 layers, I do need this trace to be at a good medium trace. So let's get that teared out and we'll pour off our portion here. Now our bottom portion is just going to be a yellow colour, which is made with some yellow mica, and the top is going to be white, and that's going to contain some poppy seed. So this is lemon poppy seed soap. Poppy seeds are going to be contained in the top section, and the bottom section is going to be yellow, representing our lemons. So I'm just making sure that I get the right amount into both containers here. And in order to make the yellow pop a little bit more, I'm actually going to probably add a little bit of the white into both containers, just to make sure that it is it's going to be a nice yellow colour. So yellow is going into my base bowl here, and you can just see what a beautiful rich colour that is. I'm also adding white into my second container there, and then I'm adding half of my fragrance oil here. Now the fragrance oil I'm using is a lemon fizz along with a lemon fragrance oil. So we've got a little bit of kind of effervescence in there, as well as the nice lemon fragrance colour. Sorry, lemon's fragrance flavour. So once that's kind of getting to a point where it's really nicely set up, I'm going to pour this into a loaf mould. Now this is a kind of long mould, so it's got a width to it rather than it being a tall and skinny, as I want to build up the middle section to give me that kind of nice peaked topped soap that we see in the pictures at the end. So we'll get all of that into there, scrape everything out because this is the only layer that this is going to have in it. So we'll get everything scraped out of this bowl. And then once that's done, we're just going to tap that down. We'll wipe down the edges, and then we're just going to allow this to set up so that it will support the white layer that's coming up in a second. Onto the white layer, what we've got here is our poppy seeds. Now they are going to go into the white layer and we're going to stir them through so we get a really nice exfoliating layer. Now these will give you quite a rough exfoliation. So if you're not kind of into that, you can use other things like walnut shells or even just some pumice. But I kind of quite like that roughness you get from the poppy seeds. So we're just going to stir those through into our white. This is going to have exactly the same fragrance oil put into it. So the other half of the fragrance oil that I've got there, that goes into our white section. And the lovely thing with kind of citrus fragrance oils is they tend not to speed up the acceleration, which is great for pouring, but when you want to do kind of a textured top, it's not quite so great, and you just have to have some patience and wait for it to set up. So I'm just waiting for that to get to the right consistency. And then what we'll do is we'll pour enough on so that we get a nice connection between the top and the bottom, which is what I'm just going to do here. And I am going to use the spatula just to break the fall so that rather than breaking through the surface, which it shouldn't do, but we just want to make sure it doesn't, it's going to roll off of there. And then once that's been covered, I can use the container just to pour in. So we've got that to a nice height. And now what we've got to do is wait for our the rest of that batter to set up, because I want to be able to texture this on the top. So once that has kind of set up enough, and I've added the rest of it into there, we're just going to use a spoon to create a texture on the top of this soap, just to make it look like it's a higher topped soap, and we've got a mound rather than it being flat. So we're just going to get that done in here, and you can just see I do it one side, come back, and then probably just switch it around to the other side, just to give myself a little bit more of a definition in that. And the final thing I'm going to do with this is add some more of the batter that was there. And again, we're just texturing it until I'm happy with it. You can play with this as much as you want or as little as you want. And then I've gone in with another spatula here just to kind of create that shape. And I've just gone back in, just making sure that it is really the finish that I want. And finally here I've got some sugar beads, which are from the cake aisle in any kind of supermarket or anything like Hobbycraft or a crafting store. And I'm running those down the centre with a little bit of glitter. And here we go for the final cut of our lemon soap. So it took a little bit of pushing to get it out of the mould here. But once it was released, I've got a really lovely lemon colour with that beautiful white top, almost like a lemon meringue pie. Unfortunately, we can't use kind of food references in the UK, and we can't make anything look like food. So this is obviously just a lemon and poppy seed soap. And here we go with the cut. I'm going to use my multi-bar cutter here just to kind of save a little bit of time. So we'll pop our soap up into there. And because we've got some beads on the top there that we don't want to kind of drag all the way through the soap, we're popping it onto the side just so we don't get too many drag marks coming through the soap there. Let's get it lined up, and then we'll pull our wires through. And here we go. Nice and gently, firm pressure. Keep the pressure on all the way through. Ease off towards the end so we don't get any blowout in the last section. A few of those beads roll off, but not too many. And then as we go through, it'll just go plunk just at the end here. And let's take a look at those bars once they are cut. So what you may notice just in the visual coming up here, once we switch across and you can see the full soap, I've got a little bit of a partial gel going on. It's not too bad, but you can see from the final soap that we've actually got a beautiful kind of lemon colour on the bottom without that what looks like a partial gel. Now I think this was a discoloration from the soap itself, and as you kind of let that sit and it basically cures out, you'll see that that colour is now a perfectly homogeneous yellow. There's no look of it being at all discoloured or a partial gel. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me grow and allows me to make more videos and tutorials for all of you. When you subscribe, don't forget to click the bell icon if you'd like to get notified when a new video is uploaded. And thanks a lot, Soapsters. I'll see you again next time.